The majority of college graduates today are not proficient in critical thinking. This has been confirmed in a recent OECD report, and it is wild. I mean, they're supposed to be the best of us, so what does that say for everybody else? And the real concerning point is actually getting worse too. More and more people just can't think for themselves. And that's not good. So in this video, we're going to go over some very interesting findings from this and other studies, what exactly may be causing this decline, and where the hell we go from here. So in this study, they measured students' ability to analyze, communicate, problem solve, with concluding 53% were not proficient in critical thinking. But a bit under half of those were categorized as lacking even basic critical thinking skills. And that's after they finished school, when you would assume most would be at their mental peak. So it's not surprising, in a follow-up study, they found that these people who struggled with it were more likely to be in unskilled jobs, unemployed, or have been fired. So it's certainly a very important skill to have. But what is this all leading to? Well, first, employers are noticing. Ernst & Young, a giant corporation with an employee count nearly double that of Microsoft, completely dropped their requirements for having a degree. They stated there is no evidence success at university correlates with achievement later in life. That's a hot take. More recently, Google, Apple, Amazon, they've all done the same, with instead relying on their own credential system. Now, obviously, a degree is better than none, and a lot of career paths are always going to require it. But as the wage premium is dropping for having one, it's clear it's not some absolute indicator for competency. But now, secondly, what do you think happens when you take these people who don't have the ability for independent rationalizing thought and expose them to the current state of news and social media? That's scary. Or how about the fact that memes are actually a primary source of news for students? Like, it's not surprising how quickly hive-mind opinions get adopted from some echo chambers on the internet. But what is actually causing this decline? Is it the education system? Well, I mean, being able to step back, take a very unique situation, and being able to identify a solution isn't really taught in schools, at least not to the degree to which it should. And this is obvious when the study assessed higher order cognitive skills rather than the recall of knowledge. And what about technology? So I grew up with slow, clunky computers that would break or get a virus if you even look at them wrong. Though part of that was due to the sketchy stuff I download on LimeWire. But it did force me to understand how computers actually work to best use them. Today, everything is streamlined. User interfaces are very quick, they're very easy to use, they're intuitive, and you really only need surface level knowledge to do just about anything. So what happens when you take this very accessible tech and combine it with things like ChatGPT? Well, you get a lot more of the answers that you're looking for, but it comes with much less of the understanding behind it. It's good from an efficiency standpoint, but having to figure things out on your own is a great exercise in critical thinking. And it looks there's going to be a lot less of that going forward. So what can we do about it? Well, we know that AI and automation are just going to replace more and more jobs. So the things that it can't really do, like being creative, thinking outside the box, and unique problem solving, those skills are going to be ever more in demand. Like even back in 2014, there was a report that was looking at the skill requirements of highly innovative jobs, which is like tech among like everything else now, basically. And they found that the critical skill that distinguishes innovators from non-innovators is creativity. So we do need some adjustment to how things are taught in school. And if you're a young person entering the job market right now, you need to recognize how valuable of a skill set this is. I've worked at jobs in the past where I was in charge of training or hiring. And the best candidates were the ones that could have some initiative, that could think outside the box. Like failing or screwing up was absolutely a non-issue if they learned from it. It was those people that didn't even attempt to figure things out on their own that we usually passed on. So in the end, critical thinking is dying. But I mean, maybe with the existence of ChatGPT in schools, they'll be forced to expand how they grade comprehension. And in the meantime, there is a huge opportunity to gain a competitive edge at your workplace with knowing what truly moves the needle the most. But of course, that's only if you want it. It's just more important than ever that we think for ourselves, stay curious, and question all the bullshit around us. And like me tinkering with my old e-machine computer, to not always avoid the hard way of doing things. Anyway, talk to you next week.